Sherlock Holmes versus Arsene Lupin, also known as Sherlock Holmes' nemesis. And basically, the game. It's the fourth game in the Sherlock Holmes series released. And at the time of this recording, it also falls in as the fourth in the chronology. At least it should pop up by then. At the time I'm recording the audio. Um, the story of the game works like this. And I'll admit, I got this game in 2008 when it was released. It was a birthday. I believe it was a Christmas gift or a birthday gift from my late wife. It's one of my favorite games. Part of why I got into the Sherlock Holmes franchise. I'm also a fan of Sherlock Holmes, so anyhow, the story works like this. Um, They are hearing word of the famous or infamous cat burglar Arsene Lupin. And Holmes gets a letter from Arsene Lupin. Arsene Lupin is a gentleman thief, and in some ways he is a hero to France. And so Arsene has decided that it is his duty as a French citizen to steal 5 items from England. 5 items in which he would basically scar the glory of the British Empire. A smack in the face. Also showing French supremacy. And he gives clues to his first theft, and with each successful theft he gives clues to the next. So Holmes is in a battle of wits against the gentleman thief. Now, this face-off was even first imagined by the creator of Arsene Lupin. Of course, Arthur Conan Doyle and his estate weren't too keen on it. Kind of understandable. Neither would want their champion to be bested. Unless maybe it's agreed on ahead of time. But as they work their way, as this game plays out, Sherlock Holmes is starting up a little behind Lupin, but eventually getting toe-to-toe to even ahead. The first theft is of a painting in the British Art Museum. Now, Holmes goes to check it out, check the place out, and they do their best to improve security. Yet, Lupin is able to thwart him and steal the painting, as well as leave clues behind for his next crime. Once he does that, and this is where I like a good portion of this game because there is a lot of puzzle solving in it. And this is good for a mental person like Sherlock Holmes. A good exercise of the brain. As it plays out, he then finds out that the next target is the ravens in the Tower of London. And if you don't know the ravens in the Tower of London, there's an old belief, and it still holds true today, that if the ravens ever leave the Tower of London, the British Empire will fall. Obviously, if word gets out of this, anyone who's involved in trying to stop it from happening gets a serious dose of egg on their face. It's too heavy, that belief. However, when they get there, the ravens have been replaced by by 6 other birds, or quote, uh, animals with wings. There's a cute little joke where there's a bat that was used to replace, quote, one of the ravens, has one of the clues. And so, to stun it, they grab a camera belonging to one of the beef eaters, to which he says, "We'll give the picture to Wayne. It's his camera anyhow." Yeah, the picture makes it look like the Batman symbol. Clever little in joke there. I like that. Next, Holmes is taken to the clues point to stealing something from the British Museum, which in turn the British did take from the French. It was the Rosetta Stone. And this time, while they are a little bit ahead of Lupin, Lupin is able to trick his way into the place, as he had already planted himself in a one of his disguises, owing a favor and then getting Holmes getting into the place. With the theft of the Rosetta Stone, he moves on to his next target. And the clues all point to Buckingham Palace. In fact, the clues all point that he is going to do something to Queen Victoria. Or he's going to steal something from her and she's going to help him escape. Which, in part, he does. His plan momentarily goes afoul when his way into the castle gets dumped into the moat. But Holmes must solve another mystery at the castle before he's able to get in. Once he's in, it is revealed that Lupin gets what he planned to steal. It is the only item he cannot return. A kiss from Queen Victoria. Afterwards, Holmes deduces the next target. But he plays dumb. As he and Watson disagree on the target. To which Holmes goes back to the Tower of London. You see, Lupin is going to steal the crown jewels, which are kept at the Tower of London. He has placed himself in the place ahead of time. Which means like I said, Lupin is a gentleman thief. He's fair. Sometimes in his own stories, he outfoxes more devious and dangerous criminals, stealing something that their plans needed to require success. So he is earned the name of a gentleman thief. He's been known to enchant women, woo them. He is very clever. And he will not, as it seems, take a life, judging from what I know, as he is only a thief. So, Holmes figures out what he's up to, prevents his escape, and then confronts him. So this is it. The match is over. Lupin has been caught on his final theft. And the two gentlemen talk. They have matched wits, and while Lupin was ahead at some times, he has to admit that Holmes did get ahead of him a few times. And towards the end, even Holmes says, yes, but, of course, I cannot bring you in, as your own crimes, having known how many you committed, would bring shame upon the Empire. And shame upon many people who were unwitting or unknowing accomplices. And so, they agree to a stalemate. Lupin gives Holmes the location of all the stolen items. Holmes lets Lupin escape, leave the country. And so, our game plays out with the solving of all these puzzles in an ingenious fashion. To what one might call maybe even a pirate victory, but it shows that the two respect one another. Holmes is not above letting a criminal get away if the reasons were noble enough, or there is reason enough for it. Holmes goes for justice, and Holmes likes a stimulating match. This was a very stimulating one. In fact, as the ending plays out, he forbids Watson from writing of this adventure, telling him to make something up in the process. I believe this is the one where he mentions a ghost hound, like for the Hound of the Baskervilles. But he says that this is the only proper way, as it would bring shame upon both him, shame on Watson, shame on the Empire, shame on Lupin, and even shame on the French. So this testament is a case that is never known. And to be honest, that's probably the best outcome. The story is intriguing. I enjoyed it. The beautiful in-jokes they put in, the Batman joke, and other ones that they put in there. Because if you pay attention to certain names and events, you will notice some very clever jokes put in there. It makes this game great. It makes it beautiful. And they're going to make it work. And just like in previous games, well, what they've done is in previous games they put in names that are they put a hint to the previous release in there somewhere. In this one, if you look around Holmes's the apartment of 221B, you will see that there is a Cthulhu statuette in there from The Awakened, which was the third game. And in the fifth game, which is probably the first in the chronology at this time, at least when I'm recording this, you will see that the wine they drink in the beginning is from one of Arsene Lupin's aliases. So they keep that tradition up. And in fact, at one point in the game, you hear him mention the secret of the silver earring, which ironically is the next in the storyline. So it causes some confusion. But that's all I'm going to say about Sherlock Holmes versus Arsene Lupin. I thank you for listening. Please subscribe, and next week we'll talk about a different game. Bye all.